Ladies and germs, welcome back. This is the intermediate episode in season 2 for your Offlane. I know it's been a very long time. We're looking at a 7-month hiatus. A lot of stuff happened. The RIT land, we signed a team, we signed another team, we lost the team. And there's no excuse for the delay in this video. I made a commitment. I will finish this entire series all the way through to captain's mode play. I just came back from the Tampa land. I had finished this video before I left, but I didn't want to release it until I came back. So in this video, we're going to jump straight to all the information about the video. In this video, you're going to see a lot of Dark Seer. You're still going to see some Furion. You're going to see Gondar. You will see Timbersaw. I left out Clockwork and Weaver on purpose, although I do have clips and coaching clips at that for them, but I don't feel like those are intermediate level offlaners. So I'd rather give you guys things that I expect you guys to be able to handle, especially with, you know, under 500 or so games. So I added that. Also, we're doing a new thing with the Dota 101 series. You'll see annotations on the side. What you should do with these annotations are reviews. So if you want to, I don't know, if you want to just see the Gondar, or just see the Timber, or just see the Dark Seer, or just see the Furion, you don't have to watch the entire video. You don't even have to watch this introduction. You can simply skip straight to it, and we made it really easy and efficient, and you all that good jazz. So without further ado, I'd like to get started. The first thing that you'll see here is Furion Offlane. This is more of a 6.78 strat, which I do still incorporate in a lot of captain's mode play now, where you're back cutting with the trees, as well as blocking the camps, and still being able to get your items and harass and make the support's life a living hell. That will be followed by Gondar, and then Dark Seer, and then Timbersaw, I believe. So, all right, let's begin. Okay, so let's get right in this. At 27 seconds, that's your cue to summon and go. You want to immediately run all the way up into the wave. Upon the cooldown coming back up, you want to immediately resummon and send them towards the wave, and you can pull it. You can do the inverse. You can send the originals to pull and leave one new one behind and still block the small camp. But that one is, in my opinion, a little bit trickier. Also, you're going to see a mistake I make here. So for some reason, because, you know, I guess there's no other heroes, I decided to keep Furion up. But if you notice in the future, when you watch the next clips, you'll notice how I'm always at the tower. You don't have to be as high as I was. You don't have to be in the jungle. As a matter of fact, I would think that is very dangerous. But you can see I'm blocking both the camps and pulling the wave. I'm going to stall it here. So yeah, that was a little bit of a error I made, but I kept it in there because I think it's good for you guys to see. Yeah, you don't want to be that high. You want to stay relatively safe while still being able to have the treants do all the work. And that's pretty much it, but that's pretty much the strategy. Okay, so we're going to watch some Furion in the offlane, as I've showed you already how to do this. Just notice that now I'm using the opposite creep, the one that's going to die sooner to do this. Like I told you, there is a variant. You can use either or. I'm more comfortable using the newer creep in order to block the camp, yet I use one of the older ones. On the Dire side long lane, you only need one of them. On the Radiant side long lane, using 2 of them to block both the hard camp for the double pull, and the medium camp is pretty much ideal. So in this one, you have the flexibility of using 1 extra treant. So if you notice, look, I'm at the magic bush, I pushed a wave. Look where AM is. Now remember, this is 6.78, so you're probably wondering, well, the creeper here, naturally, why do you still want to do this? Because if you notice, anti-mage is one of those hard carries that have a very weak early game. He has a lot of regen, and not only does he have a lot of regen, that hero struggles tanking the tower and creep and last hitting under the tower. So if you notice, I'm doing everything I can to make sure. I even took the creep around almost an entire circle in the jungle just to make sure that I'm making that carry use all of his regen and have a miserable time trying to last hit. Whereas in my lane, my carry is not having this issue because their offlane isn't as annoying as I am. So I'm going to continue to manipulate the creep waves and manipulate the other two supports and the carry by abusing this mechanic. I'm just using the treants to my advantage, trying to backpull here. You see I made a little bit of a mistake. I was a little late, but I'm still blocking the camp, and you don't need wards for this. If you notice, I don't have any wards on the map. I am just using the treants to make sure they can't pull. Some artificially creep blocking. And I'm going to pull 2 waves with this single treant. While the Shadow Demon, look, he's just wasting time. Meanwhile, you have a Bat Rider who is in the jungle. And, yeah, he's having a hard time too because I'm not only taking his camps away, but at the same time, I'm making it pretty difficult not to spot him. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. You're going to see this arrow. It's nothing really. I'm just going to show it to you again. So this was a very nice arrow by a teammate. If you notice, I animation cancel here, knowing he's gonna blink away and towards the tower. Nothing really to show there. Just wanted to show you. Look, even with roaming supports and ganking, that camp is still blocked. So I can harass the anti-mage, I can abuse the supports, and I can keep a camp blocked, all with Furion treants. And you can do this seamlessly. I have not died. I have not been placed under pressure. Anti-Mage is really good against Furion in lane because of mana break. As you can see, I fell asleep for a second and got smashed. The one thing you do want to realize is that you are very susceptible to deaths, but look at the XP, look at the levels here. This is pretty telling. Look at my supports and look at their supports. That is the name of the game right now. And look at their jungle. Okay, so in this replay, you're going to see me play Gondar. I'm going to be against a Mirana solo with a jungle axe. She has sentries. Now, I obviously don't know that. I can tell here that she has sentries up here. But you see Gondar is very aggressive early on in a one-on-one matchup, especially against a hero like Mirana, who is relatively weak for the first 3 or 4 levels. Until she picks up some steam. I got a poor man's shield, obviously, because I knew the matchup was coming. I ended up getting pulled 2 tangos. And I'm saving up for a bottle rush. If you notice this Mirana, the one thing you're going to notice of this gameplay is Mirana does a very excellent job of harassing me as often as she can. Literally, every time I take a step forward and I'm in range, she's always hitting me, getting the most use out of, obviously, her harass, because it definitely forces me back more often than not, because I have to be very careful with her mobility and her and obviously the sentries. Now granted, I don't know exactly where they are. I have an idea, but I know that she does have anti-invis, so invis more than likely will not save me if she decides to jump on me wherever she jumps on me, because she is a good enough player to realize when and how far the distance is. So I'm very skittish at this point. This is obviously a good player, so I'm just not taking any chances. The whole goal for Gondar here is to get 6 and then start ganking, and being very aggressive across the map. Look how I'm having to use Shadow Walk at this point, just the last hit. I mean, really doing an excellent job of harassing. I'm trying to do my best here, but she's making it very difficult. And sometimes you're going to play players like this in the offlane. They're going to do that. Don't get greedy. Don't try to man up and be cute. Just take what they give you. She's allowing me to get experience because she can't stop me from getting experience unless she lands an arrow and kills me, and I'm not going to let her do that. I just want 6. So what happened there was she got too close to the tower. So that's my moment to say, okay, F you. So if you look at the minimap, on the minimap, you see somebody coming down from my tower. Now I see this coming, so I'm swooping around. Now she decides, oh, I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to go up and around exactly the way I came, not realizing that she's going to walk herself into a trap because there was a Rubik coming. That play was really just set up by my support, of course. I just decided, hey, look, I need to buy him enough time, and I need to get Mirana moving in his direction. And the only way I can do that is by circling around, and it worked. Me predicting that she would have anti-invis that low in the lane actually was very good. It really helped us get that kill because her being able to see me led her to move much earlier than she wanted to and in the direction of my support. So my support's going to stay there, and I'm going to transition middle. I'm figuring that I can actually be successful here by just ganking heavily, and then I move, I get a rotation, and I get my 6, which is exactly what's going to happen. So let's replay this so you can see it. So I'm moving and I'm waiting. Obviously, my mid has his ultimate. I'm sitting here waiting. There's an axe here, and I'm thinking, wow, that's very strange. That's not Magnus. Oh, well, he's lower level. Let's just kill him. Magnus ends up coming. Fortunately for me, we still get the kill here. I end up leveling up, getting track the Magnus to give Beastmaster more speed to go away. And I end up using the DD, pick up a DD. Now I'm headed back to my lane bottom. I'm going forward. Just waiting here, waiting to track. Upon tracking, I'm just watching my team the entire time. My eyes on the mini map. So look what happened. So I go here. I have the DD in hand. Right. I get mana from my teammate. I'm beginning to get more damage because I'm predicting that we're gonna get a kill here. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure to keep track up. I shuriken toss. He lifts. I don't want to use the DD just yet. I want to be very patient with when I use it. She leapt into the trees. I see this. I shuriken toss. I should have tracked here. That was an error. But with the vision and obviously the foresight and knowing that, hey, look, he's going to be there, so just go in there and then kill him. Now the DD that I did not use earlier is still active, and look how it nets me another kill. It actually netted my support the kill. I stopped attacking because something that you want to learn as the offlane is look at my levels and look at the time on the map. My support has been actively moving and ganking and roaming. Taking that kill from him and denying him the gold is only hurtful to our team. I don't need the gold right now. There is nothing I could have purchased that would have made a difference with that gold. I already have phase boots. There's no reason for me to try to get that kill. So I go back into my lane, and now I'm just putting constant pressure up now that I have my phase boots. And upon having all that pressure put on the Mirana, she ends up getting support. Now look at the Abaddon just making my life miserable. Now that arrow, I was very fortunate to have not been hit by that arrow. But now look, now Magnus is here. You know you've done a good job in your off lane when they not only send a support, but they send their mid lane to rotate to help. And I end up picking off this Abaddon at the same time. That is one of the best, I guess, scenarios for your team. So when your offlane creates that much of a disruption within their game flow that they have to respond to him. That was very good for us, obviously, because I picked off the Abaddon despite us losing a support. But it's just the fact that that takes so much pressure off my carry and my mid lane. And that's what you want to do. You want to make their support's life miserable. I just happened to be in a one-on-one, which was very favorable for us because obviously I do more with less than Mirana does. This was a great play by the Magnus. The Magnus did a very good job here. I do have a regen, so I'm going in and out. If you notice, I kited back. I came back in. I have a regen. The regen was popped. Now I'm just trying to get away. Now they're dropping sentries. They're doing all this stuff. But unfortunately, dust is better for Gondar than sentries. One of the biggest differences between sentries and dust is sentries are more used for sieging or staying in a certain area. Dust is used against invis heroes primarily because of the slow effect and the fact that it's a mobile counter invis. Obviously outside of the gem, of course, which is the best. But now I'm transitioning middle. Now they're realizing all the pressure that that's being put on them, and their way to react is 5-man DotA. So you have to respond as an offlaner the same way. If you notice, I'm tracking and kiting, tracking and kiting. I'm never in danger. I think that's one of the biggest things I want everybody to take from this is notice how I do not put myself in a precarious spot under any circumstance. I understand that tracking is going to be more beneficial to my team than 1 or 2 kills. So there's no reason for me to take a death for 1 or 2 kills when track is the name of the game. I do get into trouble here, but then I realize, okay, I got to stay alive. So let me not be stupid. You know, long range snipe the Weaver. I'm sitting back. I'm tracking. I'm not getting into a dangerous spot. I got into a dangerous spot. My teammate was fortunate enough to bail me out with the black hole. And now look, instead of me dying there because of the black hole, we netted 4 additional kills, excuse me. Mainly because I did not die. All track kills. Incredibly important when you play this hero. If you look at the time, phase, drums. This is a very good time for phase drums. I TP bottom. My team's like, hey, can somebody TP bottom? Can we gank? Yeah. So I go in there and I give myself up as bait. It ends up obviously working out again. Weaver did not have an opportunity to use time lapse. And again, constant communication, excuse me, between your supports, your mid lane, is crucial when you're playing Gondar, because there is no point in playing the hero if you're not netting yourself a bunch of kills, and you can only really net yourself a bunch of kills on Gondar with your team actively participating in either battles or ganks or movement or some sort of just some sort of strategy has to be implemented. You can't just play Gondar and think you're just going to kill people by yourself. That's just not normally going to happen. Okay, so let's discuss a little bit of Dark Seer, even though he's not currently in the meta as much as people would like. So this is a back cutting technique that I use just because, if you can tell by the hero picks, right? Abba, Riki. There's no way they're going to kill me, like, even if they tri-lane with the Windrunner. And boom, voila. What ended up happening was I thought possibly they were going to set the Lycan offlane because he's kind of, not very good right now anywhere. Yet he somehow ended up bottom, and all I did was just kite around and back cut. That's a technique you pretty much only use when you're against, non-traditional lanes like this, heroes that can't really stun, that can't close the distance. So I end up pulling into the jungle and end up getting a lot of experience and gold here. Once again, this isn't something that should be done every game. This is definitely something that should be abused if you can abuse it. I want to make that very clear. When you see opportunities like this, when you see opportunities to be greedy and to get ahead and to do certain things that you wouldn't normally be able to do, but given the current situation, you're able to do, I would definitely take advantage of it like I did here. Obviously, I'm making Lycan tank creep at his tower, which is definitely favorable for me. At the same time, I'm getting double experience from the creep, the opposing neutrals and the jungle camp. So notice how I'm never really in position. I'm not wasting Ion Shell this early, obviously, because I wasn't traditionally in the lane like you would normally see. I ended up doing a little back cutting jungle technique, so I'm waiting for 3 so that I can start Ion shelling creep waves in order to just annoy the Lycan and do as much free damage as I can. So as you can see, I'm just staying safe, constantly using regen. I've exhausted all my regen at this point. So at this point in time, when you've spent all your regen, you have to really start playing a little bit more safely, and you have to start planning your means for aggression, because if not, you're gonna have to constantly go back to base, or you're gonna have to, you know, curl the courier or do something that probably isn't going to be favorable for your team, especially if you have a bottle crowing mid. So at this point I have one salve, and I need to understand that I can't do what I was doing to cheat early. We're gonna fast forward a little bit so you guys see this. Now that I have Soul Ring, you know, I have to be very careful with it because I'm constantly draining my HP for mana. And yeah, we got that. I don't even want to talk about that right there. I don't advise people doing that unless you're on the dire side in the jungle, and you can get the free wave above the rune, which I'll probably discuss on another episode. But yeah, so as you can see, I'm just constantly ion shelling the creep. I'm not going to put ion shell on the creep that is leading the wave and will be attacked first. I am putting it on some of the other creep as to do maximum damage to not only the wave but also the hero, the melee hero who's trying to last hit on the wave. If you notice, every time he comes up I go back. Experience isn't as important at this point as gold, and if Lycan is losing experience to try to harass me out of lane, ideally that's a win, and that's a definite trade-off. So don't be afraid to not waste an ion shell and try to kill him. Just chill, relax, especially if the opposing carry is the one that's trying to do the zoning for whatever reason. Take advantage of it. So I surged so that the creep would chase the Lycan, but because the melee, or I'm sorry, the range creep of the other team was in range attacking, it de-shifted the aggro once Lycan was no longer on attack follow. So that sometimes will happen, but get into the good habit of, when you see one of your creep chasing the opposing heroes and it has ion shell, surge it. Surge it so that it can catch up to him and attack him, and he can't really run away from it. That's another way to obviously increase maximum damage on an ion shell cast. And you're pretty much going to do this even if it's a support zoning you. You're pretty much going to do the same thing no matter who's zoning you, no matter who's in the lane. You see the double ion shell coming up right now. I want Lycan or whomever to take maximum damage upon tanking the tower, and that's pretty much the reason for the surge and the ion shells there. And you can see I'm doing a pretty good job of that. Unfortunately, I'm not able to kill him because of the Abaddon shield, which you know, that will happen a lot. Sometimes the other support, you know, is doing a very good job of protecting their carry or whatever. You're not always going to net kills. What you want to net here, though, and I'm going to repeat this for everybody, whether it's 6.78, whether it's 6.79, and more than likely in the future this will continue, you want to get a mechanism as fast as you can on this hero. You can get it pretty quickly. He uses it very efficiently, and more importantly, it's in my opinion the best item right now in the current meta. And if you can get it under 10 minutes, it will more than likely mean a win pretty much in the next, you know, 3 or so fights, especially if they don't have a mechanism. So as you can see, that's what I'm farming up. You don't need boots because you have surge, and they don't have stuns, so you don't have to worry about properly timing your surge or waiting it out, or, you know, doing any of that other stuff. Now I'm beginning to shift into the jungle because I'm getting pretty annoyed that I can't kill him. So if I'm using ion shell on the weakest creep in the camp so that it kills the toughest creeps in the camp, I'm leaving that one there, or I should, so that I ruin any possible jungle rotations. You know, maybe Lycan wants to use the wolves to farm camps as well, or go in there since he has Vlad's himself. He's not going to be able to. See, now notice the 2-2 split. The creep here are split 2-2. Since I have 2, they're attacking 2 each of the opposing minions. And I wanted to keep him alive, and I wanted to kill the wave. I almost killed him. He ulted. I'm going to show you this again. This is more or less what you want to do. Unfortunately, he gets away here, I believe. But we still net a kill on the ABBA. I think Furion does end up cleaning this up. No, he does get away. But, you know, that's Lycan. Oh, no, he does. He does die. Any other hero would have died. That would have been an easy double kill. But this is more or less what you're going to do against melee heroes in particular, or just anybody. You can do this on any matchup with Dark Seer. Now you're just going to see the strength of this hero in team fights. I'm going to rewind it back so that you guys get a clear view of what's going on. Just keep eye on Shell on a lot of your supporting heroes, or, you know, any hero that has a survivability, or anyone that's going to be in the front line. I mean, use your better judgment. Let's not forget, though, that this is Defense of the Ancients, so you don't always want to dive. You want to destroy buildings. You surge, help my player. We don't have anti-invis, which is the worst thing you can do when you're sieging a tier 2, by the way. I think they're going to kill me here. I think they forget that there's an Omni Knight. Riki pays with his life. Notice you're always fighting with your team, always spamming your abilities. I'm not using Soul Ring quite yet. I know I have Mechanism up. So, fortunately, I'm not taking any dagger damage. Can only take right clicks. So right there, you see me use the Soul Ring just to mech, just to give the Lycan more life. All that good stuff. Okay, so here we're discussing Dark Seer. I'm doing a little bit of a cute, kind of want to say a cute tactic, since I know I have Surge very early, and they don't have Lockdown, or at least a heavy dose of Lockdown. I end up back cutting the wave, so I immediately run out there and hide. This is another strategy that you can do, which is back cutting. If you know you're going to be safe, you want to put their carry or their support and their carries under a lot of pressure by making them the tank on their tower, and I kind of want to say artificially pushing the lane, because this obviously isn't normally going to happen, but I felt relatively safe because of Surge. And you can do stuff like this. You can also do this with heroes like Axe, and you know, the thing is, you just have to make sure that the opposing side doesn't have, you know, heavy lockdown or sleeps or anything that can really prevent you from doing this. But if you can get away with it, absolutely, I will always say go for it. I don't consider this greedy. I consider this a strategy. I knew they couldn't stop me, so I just said, okay, fine. I'm just going to make life easier. This also was a 6.78 replay. But again, all these tactics can still be used today. So it's not that these are not important. And understanding when to do it and how to do it, I think, is very crucial to understanding the off-lane role. Like, you have to know when to abandon the lane, when to stay in the lane, when to use tactics like this, when to use the Furion Treant tactics like I showed earlier, and how to get the most out of it as you're doing it. So, you know, obviously they have the Burrow Strike, and they have Juggernaut Spin, which does a lot of damage. Yes, I have Surge, but there's really no reason to ever waste regen. There's no reason to just go through your regen just to go through your regen. I'm a very firm believer that you need to be very smart about the gold that you spend. You have to be very efficient with your gold. So if I don't need to be taking harass, and I don't have to put myself in a bad situation, then I obviously should not do so. So I'm just, you know, ion shutting the creep wave, staying at a relative distance, still getting my last hit, still getting my farm. You're gonna see here, this is something that I don't see a lot of people do, is make sure that they don't just get a free lunch. So I made a mistake of allowing them to pull on me because I didn't have wards, I didn't have vision. But I immediately notice it, I run to the wave, and I make him run away. You want to inflict fear as much as you can on the opposing supports, because their carry is always going to take creep and CS and experience over a potential kill. Alright, so this is Timbersaw Offlane. So you can see I'm up against a heavy melee lane, so it should be, I don't want to say easy, but it should be less troublesome. However, Nyx is a problem for Timbersaw. Mana burn really does a number on him. Because even though reactive armor is very strong, without mana you really just can't do anything. So you see I interrupt the jungle pull, and I pull it into this wave here, and I'm just proceeding to farm. Now mana burn is kicking my ass. If you notice, I have not only a stout shield, but I have a magic stick very early. This is of course on purpose. I knew pounce and mana burn would be used pretty often, so I try to preemptively protect myself and make sure I didn't get dominated. So I purchased that item. Nyx made the mistake of accidentally pulling to creep, so it allowed me with some space in a one-on-one. If you notice, I was trying to hold off for as long as I can so that the creep didn't have to go to my tower, but Slark is a pretty good hero. Pounce kind of hurts, but I still managed to keep the creep close. If you notice, they're going to continue to jump on me. This is sort of how that lane's going to go. It's a very strong lane. Ideally, you would hope that your middle would have a TP, or we have Zeus. You'd hope he'd close his ultimate so that you can take advantage. Fortunately, it didn't happen. My objective here is just not to die. It's to get as many levels as I can out of this, to get as much farm, because in the mid game I'm going to be able to do a lot. Our mid is getting dominated. That does not bode well for me. So I have to be very careful. So first things first, let me get boots. I got double boots, one for each foot. And then I make the mistake, the fatal error, which I had to show. So Centaur ulted. Slarker's going to die. Centaur ulted for so that he can get away, and then I get ganked by the Enigma who's in the jungle on top of the and the Nyx. So I see this. I TP back. Now, I'm baiting here because I knew my mid was coming down because I called for it. You can rewind this back and check the mini-map and you'll see the TP and stuff. So I wasn't going crazy there. It seemed like I may have been on tilt. No, I was not. I just told the Zeus plain and simply, I'm wrecking them bottom. Gonna need some help. Easy kills. Turned out that it was as easy as I said it was. Now here's the interesting part. So look at what's going to happen here. Nyx is going to stay in lane. Where the hell is Slark? So you don't know what's going on, but notice how aggressive Nyx got. I immediately run back. There's no reason for a support to try to look. I'm going to show this again. There's no reason for a support to be here contesting you and looking like he's going to farm. Look how close he is to me. He should be scared of me, but he's not. It tells me something's funny. I don't have any wards up. You can see the fog. That's just awareness, just tactical awareness there. And then look what's gonna happen. But so much for tactical awareness, because I'm an idiot and hanging around with no mana, because my mid was going to TP. That was the play, and I just got overzealous. I baited a little too early. I bought back. I was on tilt. Just so happened that their mid counter TP'd, and then I proceeded to get a double kill. There is no real trick to buying back. Remember, now it's more difficult, so buying back is much more tricky, because you're not going to get the gold back unless you're getting kills. You cannot get the gold from experience, or the gold from creep. You can only get experience, so you're going to have to weigh that out yourself. It's really a touch and feel thing. I was on tilt at that point, frustrated at myself. Just so happened that we ended up getting kills out of it because there was counter TPs. Sometimes it works out in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. So then, obviously, they're trying to siege. We came back on them. Cleaned house. But again, get my items, despite the fact that I'm in the off lane. I'm in the throwaway lane. Look what's going on. Now, I don't normally advise getting a bloodstone unless you're snowballing, and I have died. You blink, I mean, Yule's into blink dagger is really good. You don't have to go bloodstone. Bloodstone is very strong, especially for snowballing. But you know, on Timber, he's one of the heroes I think definitely makes good use out of that item, so it's okay. But look, I'm everywhere on the map. Look how much harassing I'm doing. Then I get ganked. But the fortunate part is I do so much damage that my team's is basically going to clean up. And the moral of the story is, if you do enough to just get experience and levels on Timber, it can definitely go a long way. That's the end. That's the end of the video. Just want to reiterate again: Clockwork and Weaver, you should not be playing at the intermediate level. Work on these heroes first, and then wait for the advanced section, and we'll definitely cover those heroes ad nauseum. Also want to once again apologize for the delay. There really is no excuse other than my priorities were shifted, and ultimately, with hindsight, I think I made the wrong decision delaying the series. I will get back to it. Expect the next episode to be Carry. So that'll be season 2, episode 4 would be Carry, followed by, once again, the 4th position will be last. I believe Mania will be giving that a go again. So just expect that. You should expect the next video within the next few weeks. Thanks again, everybody. If you have any feedback, leave it at frost@flipsidetactics.com. Normal flip side. There's a lot of confusion because people see the flip side with a 3 and the flip side with an E. This is flip side with an E. Those are the emails. Our YouTube is different because somebody had the original. That guy's a jerk. Anyways, that's the end of the video. Take care, guys.